So what we're going to talk about now is actually demoing the static IO function on the waveforms. So this is waveforms. Welcome back. Make sure your data is plugged in and everything's okay. Your data is working. And then we're going to go to the static IO. You see right now all of these correspond to a wire on your DAD going from 15 to 0. There's 16 pins, but for the purposes of what we're going to demonstrate we're just going to be using pins 2 to 0. So for cable 1, let's turn the static IO off. And for usually any function in waveforms, there's a play button if you want to run whatever you're running. So we turn off the keep them from like flickering and stuff like that. We turn it off. But when we want to play with our static IO, we turn it on. So for now, we're going to turn it off and set these functions. So for cable 1 on our DAD, for the static IO, we're just going to set it to be an LED. And if it's if you provide power to it, it's going to turn on. If you don't provide power to it, if you provide ground instead, it's going to stay off. Our switch, or button, I mean, these get into kind of some more complicated concepts. So we're going to leave these for now. But what it's saying is that for this first one, it's saying that if the button is pressed, it pulls voltage. So it will pull that voltage to the LED to turn on. And while if you're not pressing the button, it's going to stay off. Vice versa, if the button is released, it's going to stay on. And when it's pressed, it'll turn off. And then going into the switch, we can set it to a switch, just a simple push-pull switch. So if it's 0, then the LED will turn off. If it's 1, it turns on. But because our static IO is off and I haven't connected them together yet, nothing is happening to our LED. So first thing you're going to do before you turn on any circuit is you connect your cables together. So the first functionality I'm going to demonstrate is the push button. So I'm going to connect cables 1 and 0 together. They're like these green and pink cables right here, right next to the gray cable. And we're going to just connect them with the little pin, a jumper cable, a jumper pin. And then we can turn on our static IO. So let's see what setting I had the push button at. Saying if it's released, so since I'm not pressing the button, it's just turning on. But if I press the button, it turns off. And we can go back into that function and say, let's do it the opposite way. When I push the button, it should turn on, right? And it does. So now instead of having the push button connected to the LED, we're going to just connect the switch to the LED. So let's turn off the static IO and then connect pin 0 to pin 2. And pin 2 is this nice, pretty purple cable next to the green cable 1. We're just going to plug them in together via the little jumper cable. I'm being weird. Anyway, so we're going to turn on our static IO. And because it is set to 0, the switch is being pulled to ground, the LED is off. But when we pull the switch high, then the LED turns on. And it's as simple as that. Off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on. Okay. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. And tune back in for some more videos later on.